Outside, the stadium noise is deafening. Inside the locker room, right before the 2022 World Cup final, the silence is heavy enough to crush you. One man sits at the center of that silence, carrying the desperate hopes of 45 million people on his shoulders. But to understand the weight of this moment, you have to look backward. Reaching the absolute pinnacle of sports history was never a certainty. In fact, early in his life, doctors looked at his charts and decided his physical development was effectively over. He won that day because he spent 20 years refusing to accept that his career was finished before it had even started. The story starts on the working-class streets of Rosario, Argentina. As a child, his talent on the pitch was obvious. He could manipulate a football with a precision that baffled local coaches. Yet, every time he lined up against boys his own age, he was noticeably, dangerously smaller. The reason became clear with a devastating medical diagnosis: growth hormone deficiency. Without intervention, his physical development would permanently halt. This chart compares a standard pediatric growth curve to the severe deficit caused by his condition. As peers developed, the physical gap actively widened. Treatment required daily hormone injections, approaching $1,000 a month, a staggering burden his family could no longer afford. So, at 13 years old, he made a massive sacrifice. He left his home, his friends, and his country to cross the Atlantic. FC Barcelona was the only club willing to pay for his medical treatment. Long before holding a gold medal, he had already overcome his physical limits, developing a resilience that would define his entire professional life. In Spain, his rise was absolute. He moved rapidly through the ranks of FC Barcelona, dominating European football and accumulating trophies at a volume the sport had never seen. But every time he boarded a plane to return home and play for Argentina, he left that success behind, walking into an atmosphere of suffocating pressure. The Argentine jersey carries immense cultural weight. Putting it on meant instantly facing the ghosts of past legends and the constant expectation that he must replicate their international glory. The psychological toll was severe. He was universally adored across the globe, yet constantly questioned and heavily criticized by his own countrymen whenever the national team struggled. Raw talent provides a lot of advantages on a football pitch, but it offers zero protection against the isolating pressure of national identity. That pressure reached its peak at the 2014 World Cup. He dragged his team to the final on the biggest stage imaginable, only to suffer a devastating narrow defeat at the final hurdle. That heartbreak compounded over the next 2 years, back-to-back finals in the Copa America and back-to-back agonizing losses. The national trauma deepened. The media backlash was fierce. Pundits and fans alike debated his commitment, breaking his spirit under the weight of repeated, high-profile failures. Despair finally overtook him. In a shocking moment immediately following the 2016 Copa America defeat, he stood before the cameras and announced his retirement from international football. Even the most gifted individuals have a breaking point. With his resignation, the ultimate test began. Would he find the strength to return, or would his international story end here? He soon realized he could not let his story end in defeat. He reversed his retirement and returned to the national squad. Fast forward to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. He was no longer walking alone. He was surrounded by a new, unified generation of players who grew up idolizing him and who were entirely willing to fight for him. The momentum they built through the tournament was undeniable. The stadium energy shifted from anxious expectation to pure belief. Their on-pitch execution was dynamic and unstoppable, propelling them aggressively through the knockout stages, bringing us back to that heavy locker room silence. He laces up his boots, stands up, and steps onto the pitch for the final time. He defined his career by returning to the pitch precisely when everyone expected him to stay away, proving that the final chapter of a legend is written by the one who refuses to walk away. The moment Argentina wins the final, the tension shatters. It is replaced by an explosive emotional release and absolute stadium euphoria. It is the culmination of a lifelong dream, finally conquering the elusive World Cup. For the boy from Rosario who conquered the world, there is a profound sense of peace and vindication. If Lionel Messi had surrendered during his hardest moments, if he had given up facing those childhood medical charts, or after the agonizing string of final defeats, the history of football would read completely differently. What is your favorite moment from this player's career? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more football stories, sports documentaries, legendary careers, and inspiring journeys. Like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible football stories.